place is filled with zombies and a bunch of other nasty shit. Go. I'm gonna run past them all. We have 2 shots? What is that on my face?
You. Yes, you. Those of the Sun Post, they have abandoned their faith. Should you be captured, you would do well to... However, I will... But if you... I see you have... We will...
Alright. Puppeteer ninjutsu. So I can't give him the white pinwheel. I need to give him the red and white.
Where did everyone go? Now what do I...
Why are you...
Everyone's gone.
Who's everyone?
Everyone is spinning red and white flowers. Only one pure white flower. The pure white...
What?
Sorry, I just...
These are the guys who give me the fatty wax, and apparently I need more of that. Hey, fat wax, sweet. Okay, come on.
Every once in a while, they're like, come on. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm fighting a bunch of fucking crazy-ass monks that like to kill kids. So basically like Catholic priests molesting kids, except they molest and then kill them. No joke, that's not even a lie. The monks like killed a bunch of fucking kids. So like the first time I went through this area and I was like, did the monks sacrifice kids for immortality? And I was like, that's some rapey Catholic shit. I'm like really taking a page turner.
You might... I'm gonna say you might want to add non-religious to that fucking list of shit that people should be. That's too late.
These monks do believe in a god of
Well, I was more
some sort,
saying...
but it's creepy. More saying that's a reason people shouldn't be religious.
No, I'm saying you should consider putting that on the, looking for a group thing.
Oh, on the group thing. Yeah, I already sent it out, so I'll see if I get anyone to respond to it. But it's like, if you can't take the piss out of like your beliefs every now and then you can't realize the fact that like not everything someone believes in is correct. Meaning you can never agree that you're ever wrong in certain aspects. It makes arguing so annoying. Like, the moment you mix religion with an intellectual argument, it's over. It's over. No matter what you say, to them you already lost.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
I mean, I know what I'm saying. I'm saying more about that whole looking for a group thing. I've told you about what, that my first semester up here, there was some crazy religious chick shouting about how, basically Christianity was the way to go in the afterlife, and I came to her and I was just like, how do you know that you're right? And then she basically just sat there and shut up, and the whole class then erupted into a discussion. Because it was one of those, like, discussion classes.
Well, I said in one of my last streams, that, like, we had that Christian girl just straight up leave our fucking classroom because, like, when we started mixing history with the background of, like, religion, it started to really shine a light that a lot of the stories in the Bible could be taken as, like, symbolic, meaning that...
Well, that's what they're supposed to do, first of all.
I mean, first of all, yes, most of the stories in the Bible are supposed to be symbolic messages meant to, like, promote certain moral foundations, yada yada yada. but a lot of religions, or religious factions of Christianity, have gotten
Take
to the
it
point
as-
where they have true fact, and that every magical thing that happened in the Bible happened, and that magic is real and shit like that.
Basically another yada yada yada.
Basically. But like, yeah, and then I told you, like, one time when I was fucking working chicken, we had that crazy Christian lady come in and start preaching and then say we didn't give her the right amount of chicken and demanded that we give her free chicken the next day. And then, like, she came in preaching after her husband was being an incomprehensible dick. And it was basically like one of those situations, which my most hated situation is when I tell someone I can't speak Spanish, and like, it's annoying when it's like a white person immediately assumes it, but like, that's just an inconvenience that happens. But it's really annoying when it's a Spanish person and the thought process of them is, you're brown and you should speak it. And I'm like, that's something that we shouldn't think, so why are you thinking that? Basically, like...
Well, I think it's more of they
Like-
see you and they're like, ah, yes, finally, someone else who speaks Spanish, and they go up to you, and then when they speak Spanish, and you're just like, what? They're like, ah,
You take care
damn
of
it.
your business?
Yeah, they're like, we performed a racism.
After all the grunt work I
They're mostly doing it
But-
out of like, yay, I can finally talk Spanish to somebody. Because they
Yeah,
just kind
but
of like
like
assume.
the thing that
Well,
aspect
I guess
isn't
I'll-
the annoying
you
part, it's the
probably flash it
follow
now
up
you
to
know.
that.
She reeks of charred blue rat.
That's fair.
Do what?
I like,
And
why
the
don't you speak
follow-up,
Spanish?
Like, yeah, the follow up, and then like it leads to them asking me questions. Like, normally if I tell white people I don't speak Spanish, they're so bashful at that point because they realized, we might have came across as racist. They don't say shit. You tell it to someone Spanish, and then they want your entire life's backstory and why the fuck you don't speak Spanish, and why that isn't your top priority in life at the current moment to learn Spanish. And oh my god, that shit's so fucking annoying. But like, yeah, she came in, and like this is one of the things that like really pissed me off. She came in, and her husband comes up to me and asked me if I speak Spanish. I told him I don't, and he knew English, but he refused to speak it. Was the biggest problem. He refused to speak English. And I'm like, well, sir, then I can't talk to you because I don't know what the fuck you're saying. But I was like being polite about it. I wasn't like saying I don't know what the fuck you're saying and being a dick. But basically,
I assume that you're never saying word for word what you tell me, because if you were,
no, most of the
I'd be
time
like,
when I
maybe
tell you a
should be
story, I'm telling
fired
you
from your
exactly
job.
what I'm thinking. I'm telling you exactly what I'm thinking in my head. But you know me, I actually have professionalism and shit in public, unless it's just us fucking around and I don't have any responsibilities at the moment, in which I won't apologize for certain things or give a shit. I'll admit, sometimes when we go out in fucking public, I'm just like, whatever. But like, normally it's not like shoving shit down people's throats, but it's like if I say something and someone gets mad at me, I don't give a fuck. But no, so then the follow-up is his wife comes in and speaks English, admits that he can speak complete English, and that he had an attitude problem, and she's like, but she turns to me and she goes, but I'm assuming you're a religious fellow, and you know, God'll help us all in life, and it's thanks to God that I showed up to help you here, because my husband's a dick. And I'm like, well, you're kind of making yourself sound like a fucking crazy person, but continue. I didn't say shit, and she turned to me and she's like, but aren't you glad we have God? And I turned to her, I'm like, ma'am, I'm agnostic. And she just kind of shut the fuck up, and then she got mad at me and left. Which I
Reminds me of
honestly think the
something
reason she said
similar happened to me. But you finish your story.
It made me think that like the reason she might have said that she didn't get the amount of chicken she said she was supposed to get, shit like that. By the way, they fucked up on their order like 5 times, and she gave me attitude the whole time while fucking preaching to me and contradicting every fucking Bible lesson she was preaching at the exact moment. So like, she had lost my attention and everything else. I was pissed. Basically, that's it. And like, they leave, and then they call into the store, and they're like, we're gonna come in tomorrow to get our free chicken, assholes. And I went, well, 1, you don't talk to us like that. And I'm like, well, 2, whatever. So my manager's like, fine, come in, get your chicken. And they didn't even show up to actually get it, which is the funny part.
Yeah.
Like, they were causing a scene just to cause a scene.
Yeah.
Was basically the gist of what was going on there. And, like, dude, my thing is I'm not against Christianity. I'm against people using Christianity as a weapon and a tool, and it's being misused, but the religion itself isn't so bad. But it's when you use your religion for purposes that it was not intended for, I will say something. And my grandmother's figured this out, because she realized that, like, even though I'm agnostic, she won't push shit on me, and she realizes that, like, I still have the same, like, I still believe in ethics and a moral code, and, like, it's good to help people, but I also have, like, a problem where I'm not very, like, I'm cold, I'll admit it, I'm very cold. It's not intentional, I try, but, like, I don't have a lot of care or feeling for a lot of people and stuff like that, but I'll still try. Like, it's against my beliefs just to be an outright dick to someone for no reason or to treat them like shit, but I also, like, don't really care much for them either way in any regard. I can distance myself, and I'm very good at it, is my problem. But yeah, no, that, like, when religion is used like that fucking lady and shit like that, which most of the time, sadly, it is, especially, oh, maybe not in all situations, but, like, especially in, like, rural areas, like, that we're used to, people are definitely more entitled to feel that they can use it as a tool and a weapon, and a source of, like, a sense of feeling higher and above people in social standing. And that's basically where I'm like, I don't agree with you, and I think that if you're going to practice what you preach, basically, that's my thing. Which is why, like, my uncles, both of my uncles are very religious, but they do follow what they preach. And for that, I commend them and respect them. So whenever, like, my friends who know me as agnostic ever, like, see me run across my uncle and he's, like, super religious, and they're like, hey, and I'm like, and they're like, how can you get along with him? He's religious. I'm like, because he actually, like, stands for what he believes in. That's literally all it takes. If you're gonna have a moral compass, and be like, hey, this is my backbone, don't betray it and don't use it as a tool to hurt others. That's basically it. If you don't do those things, then you're fine. Is basically my standpoint. I don't know what it is for you. I'm assuming yours is fairly similar.
My standpoint, I'm like, yeah, as long as you don't try to cram it down your throat. Don't cram down my throat saying that how I'm going to yada 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 because I don't believe in the same thing you do. And I don't care.
Well, yeah. Well, I had to tell my grandma, like, that, like, a majority of people I was like, I knew had committed suicide because of, like, bullying in high school, and she's like, well, that's normal. And I said, but you wanna know what's sad? And she goes, what? And I'm like, those people were bullied by entitled, like, self-entitled Christians who, like, use the religion as a weapon in almost every instance. And, like, I'm like, and ironically, you wouldn't expect it, but Ryan and Luis were the very few people out of that entire school that actually, like, made it through all that shit. So it was just bad, and, like, they'd seen a lot of it before I got to Ulysses. Apparently there had been a lot worse things that had happened before I had gotten there. And, like, it was so bad at one point, like, I think 90% of the entire Methodist and Catholic Church group's children had renounced religion my junior and senior year, and some of them had done it, like, openly at, like, religious meetings at school where, like, you can't, you know, they can't force you to do it, but they'll have, like, religious clubs and stuff, or they'll, like, do stuff outside of the school, and they just, like, told everyone to fuck off and leave the school, which I don't completely agree with, but, like, you can't tell people not to believe in something, but, like, that's how bad they had been treated with those religious things and people, that, like, they didn't want it to be anywhere near them at any time, and the fact that it was on school grounds apparently, like, bothered them so much. They were very uncomfortable, to the point where they openly would like address it negatively, which that one in itself, that's not okay. Like, you don't want them openly being dicks to you, which is what they were doing in the past. So like, you can't respond with the same negativity because that doesn't solve anything. But like, there were a lot of bad instances, and I mean, when I was in Gaiman and Texhoma, it was more relaxed in Texhoma just because like there's like 3 fucking churches in Texhoma and people there actually don't get in your business as much, but in Gaiman there were very similar issues. And that stuff, seeing that as a kid, really fucks with you. But go on about your stuff.
Go on about my stuff, what?
Oh, I thought you were gonna make a point before. That you were gonna make a point about something besides.
That
like,
whole thing. The thing back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I already talked about that one.
But no, it's. I don't know how like a lot of it has affected you. I know that like you said that like you were from an area that it was probably mostly negative at times. And like, even though Avery's your friend, you still have to deal with like certain aspects of it.
Another one.
You found me. Go ahead.
The decent part about it is that Avery hasn't tried to force it down any of our throats.
Oh, he hasn't?
No, he hasn't yet.
Well, that's good.
Where you find that?
Like, when I went to school, there were like people that like you said their name and you knew that those were the people that were either super religious or the people that would shove it down people's throats. And we had one, and her name was Sarah. I'm not gonna say her last name, but there's a lot of fucking Sarahs, so no one's ever gonna figure it out. But like, me and Ryan would go to school, and we were friends with another girl named Sarah, which she was cool and laid back, and she was fine with like me, Ryan, Luis, and all our friends' like viewpoints on life and shit like that. She was chill, and she was pretty cool. She had like a friend or two that we weren't the biggest fan of, but other than that, no complaints. But the other one, like, we just fucking despised. Like, we tried to be nice to her, but like over the years, and apparently since like a lot of like those people were like kids, she had just been like one of those like Christian people that was like so religious that she couldn't function mentally. Like, she was religious stupid, meaning she had like no common sense. It's basically what we called it. And like, if something in the Bible didn't have regards to something in real life, she didn't know how to handle it.
Okay.
Like, her brain would break. Is basically what I mean by religious stupid. But yeah, she like treated Ryan and Luis really badly and would pull the whole high and mighty shtick with them. With like, I'm religious, so I'm better than you. And like, it was funny because senior year, her boyfriend of like multiple years, like, she thought they were gonna get married, which was fucking hilarious to us. He had gone off to college and she was still in high school, so he was cheating on her and she didn't know it. So then they just eventually broke up. And because of it, and like, she was so emotionally fucked afterwards, she couldn't function because he was slightly religious but not as much as her, and she didn't figure out how he could be a cheater and be religious. And I'm like, people can still be bad and religious. And she was confused, and I'm like, you know, you're more religious than me, but have you ever read the Bible? And she went, well, yeah. And I'm like, how many of God's followers were criminals or killers? Or Jesus' followers? And then she just kind of sat there and gave me this look of wide-eyed, I fucking get it shit. And it was, what? it was one of those moments. To this day, I still think she's religious, but I think she's definitely taken a step back or two because no one said anything about her in a while. But it was bad when you said her name and knew that she was doing something that was... It's just one of those people whenever you think of them or like hear about them, their name can just put feelings of, oh my god, this person type situation. And like she'd been a negative influence, and like I said, a lot of she'd been a big negative influence on like a lot of the people who had like turned against religion. Didn't understand where they were coming from because like a lot of the ones that like went against it in the end were Catholic or Methodist, but I think she was like not one of those denominations. So like there was maybe a 40 to 50 ratio of religious to non-religious students, but like the ones who were still religious had a lot of power and influence, like their families held a lot of standing, and they would use that to hurt the non-religious people, and it was just terrible. And like they didn't realize I wasn't very religious, I think, till my junior year, but I had only gotten there my sophomore year. And when they had figured that out, most of them had accepted me at that point, so they didn't want to contradict themselves. But a lot of them tried to like get me to go to their churches and stuff because they immediately felt bad that they were friends with me when they realized I wasn't Christian, but I also wasn't atheist. I was agnostic, which still I guess they thought was marginally better, but they were embarrassed for the fact that they hadn't figured it out, and that they were okay with me. Like that's completely against their moral code. When they realized that I could be a decent person and not religious. I think it kind of broke a few of them. A few of them actually did end up like just overtly separating from me, but most of them we weren't very close to begin with, so it wasn't like a loss for me or anything. Do you have any events like that happened to you when you were in school? Really bad ones?
Any really bad religious stuff? No.
You actually don't have anything negative? Or
Nothing, no
bad?
negative experiences with religious people. High school, actually, yeah, no.
When did you get negative experiences then?
When I moved to Hayes.
Well, if you were to move to any place that would have it, that would be the place. I think your town, I went there once or twice to play D&D and a few other things. A lot of people there seem pretty relaxed, but no, it was pretty bad in Hayes, because like I know when I was in Hayes, people were super racist and bigots and stuff, and very religious. So like I had a lot of bad instances, even at work, with like people coming in and shit. But I mean, yes, it was Love's. It was a Love's gas station, but still. Like, those are still run-of-the-mill people you would see in Hayes. I didn't normally work the super late shifts, so most of the crazies were just regular people that were just crazy. But I've never been against religion as itself, mostly just when it's used as a tool to hurt people. Because, like, I've actually read the Bible, and we were in class the other day, and like, I was and I didn't know that like the British chick, you know, she that told me she was atheist. I didn't know any of that at the time. But like we were talking about the Bible and its relevance when that one girl like kind of broke and left. And historically speaking, we weren't like being negative or being dicks, but you know, like the whole instance where like, she found out a lot of it was symbolic and not factual kind of fucked her there. But like surprisingly, when I was talking about reading the Bible, the kids in my class were like, they were like, out of the 15, 3 of them had actually read the Bible besides me, and I went, holy fuck. For record, I've read the Bible twice, but I read the Bible once when I was 12 years old and once when I was 14. So it's been like 6 or 7 years. So some spots are still a little faint, which means I should probably read it again, because it's been a while, but... But to some of them, they were shocked because they were religious, and they were like, you've read the Bible? And I'm like, yeah. And they kind of looked at me, and then I made this comment that I think shocked a few of them. I'm like, dude, most of my atheist friends have read the Bible like 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm. Typically, it's the atheists
Like,
that actually read the Bible.
Oh yeah. And like Ryan, when Ryan was in high school, like back in high school, I used to get along so much better with Ryan because Ryan was a bit more relaxed. He had a bit more confidence. When Ryan got out of high school, he wasn't the same person. He all of his like negative tendencies just like increased tenfold for some reason, and it was weird. Like his antisocial stuff came out and all that, but when he was in high school, he was confident. He'd read the Bible multiple times, so like he could even fucking recite verses. So like Christians would make arguments in class, and then he would be like, "Well, that's not what the Bible says," and he would say the direct quote, and then the Christians would like almost shit themselves because everyone at that school knew for a fact that Ryan and Luis were both not religious.
People don't like
So-
it when I bring up the fact that the Bible actually isn't against kid killing. People just, I don't get why they don't like it. Kill kids, man.
There were
Kill
multiple
kids.
instances in the Bible where people killed children. God asked people to kill kids. There's been like entire moments of genocide done for religion. So,
Yeah, I know.
there's a lot of messed up stories in the Bible, and like ironically, my mom actually openly told my grandma that the fact that a lot of Christians like completely take out the Old Testament of holding any value but just information is ridiculous because that's like discrediting half of your information. And my grandma got pissed, and I was like, that might be the only thing my mom's ever said that I can agree with. green guys over there. Oh, fuck. But I mean, there are interesting stories in the Bible, and like, it's not all not. It's not entertaining. Like, I like reading it sometimes just because, like, I don't know. I find some of it interesting. Okay, I'm gonna use Spirit Fall so he can't see me that well. Use that stupid bell. Got him. Must chase the purple mans. Got him. Yay. Also, something funny happened to me today. I went to fucking Taco Bell, and I immediately knew I was gonna have a bad time because there was a dude in the drive-thru right fucking in front of me, and I went, ooh. I'm like, are they pulling their shit? Because the Taco Bell in my town is like literally, it's just high schoolers that work there. They don't have like any senior staff, anything like that, which sucks. Because that means they basically don't have professionals, and it was really bad today. Like, every time I go in, I'm always worried, are they gonna fuck up my order? Because they did for a very long time. They just kept fucking my goddamn order up. And I went in today, and the dude in front of me is fucking pissed, and I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign. The dude in front of me is fucking livid. I'm trying to figure out why. But apparently what had happened was he had been waiting there for like fucking 8 minutes. So like every 2 minutes he kept saying, "Is anyone there?" And the entire staff working that day was fucking high schoolers.
Why did you?
yeah.
It is yet.
I do.
I see.
And it was fucked up because like they took 8 minutes to like just take his order,
If
let alone
you
not the
are
food.
prepared.
When I pull up, I'm ordering an
You
order
may
for my
gaze on
grandmother
the blade.
and an order for me. I had to specifically order certain things out of. They have this thing called the rattlesnake burrito, which has steak and rattlesnake fries, which are fucking amazing. But the sauce is too hot and the jalapenos are, so I asked for them to put regular nacho sauce and just take out the jalapenos. Halfway through my fucking order, this stupid fucking high school girl starts laughing and talking with her coworkers and isn't even listening to me.
Why is
So I'm
it,
like
I
continuing to
wonder?
say my order,
Are
and then
they
she's like,
not
"Oh, what?
loath
Sorry,
to die?
I couldn't hear that." And I was like, I was so mad because I knew for a fact, and I could hear her talking to people. She wasn't paying the fuck attention. I thought it was fucking over after that. I was like, oh, maybe this is
are
it.
you-
Maybe this is it. I'll be fine. I won't get mad if this is it.
Your
I go to
eye.
pull up, and I hand $10 and my
I
card.
see. You carry the curse of the
Run the
dragon's
money,
heritage.
and then my card. You can do that anywhere the fuck you go to pay for anything.
Without question.
So the girl hands me back my money, and I look at her, and I'm like, and she's like, so we ran your card. And I went, but you didn't use any of the money? And she's like, well, I don't know what you want. And I went, are you fucking stupid? You're fucking with me. And I'm like, after all of that, I had to deal with 4 fuck-ups. You fucking not even paying attention when I'm at my order, and then you giving me attitude because you ran my shit up wrong. You're giving me attitude. At that point, I was fucking livid. And I just went, okay, whatever. And I went about my day. But dude, I was so pissed. I actually, like, was so mad. I took my phone out, did a fucking 1-star review, and described the entire situation. And I know the manager, so I'm gonna go in and talk to her, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, you need to fire some fucks.
I see you.
Yes.
Because that's
Why
how
do
mad
you
I
see-
was.
I wish to sever.
I have which the divine air.
That's right.
How strange.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of bullshit.
I am one of the children.
Yeah, you wanna know
which
something that's really
fleeting
fucked up?
waters,
Almost every time I've
created
gone
by
in there, I've either
those
gotten a
who would
wrong
stop
order or
nothing
stupid
to
high schoolers
achieve
pulling dumb shit
immortality.
that, like,
My
I've
false
specifically had to tell the
dragon's
manager, and the
blood
manager's
was
directly
created by
apologized to me.
man.
She's given my dog food. She's been like,
I do not
like,
the
it's
drunk
so
who
bad
have
because, like, the
these
manager there,
afterlife.
she's actually a good worker, but when she's not on shift, and like she's a temporary manager, she's not the actual manager, I don't think, because they don't actually have an assistant manager or a manager, and have had the problem of not being able to get one. So I feel bad because she's trying, but like all of her coworkers are basically just like fucking her before she can get her foot off the ground. And that's like really fucked up. And I enjoy the manager. She's a cool person, but her workers are basically fucking her over. And the problem is they're all she can fucking get. But like, here, I'm gonna read this off to you, because my review's still like the top one on there. Because I know, because I checked it afterwards, just to see if mine was like still the top one, and this is basically what I wrote. I constantly go to Taco Bell. I go there almost every day. I love the food, but almost every time I have to wait 5 to 10 minutes to be allowed to receive my order, and more than half the time it's wrong. Today I finally had enough when I went to order. There was a man in the drive-thru in front of me constantly saying hello 5 times in 2-minute intervals. He was agitated. When I pulled up next, I ordered for 2, my grandmother and me. Halfway between my order, the girl started talking to her coworkers and started laughing for 2 minutes. This was annoying. When I went up to pay, I handed $10 in my card, only for the girl to run the card and not use any of my money. I said, "Why didn't you run the card after the money?" She responded with, "I don't know what you want." This is one of the many occasions, and I have told him many times of the inconveniences and mess-ups, only for them not to be solved. That is what I wrote for review. Um, yeah, the giant snake that chases you throughout the game is currently glitched through the level, so it's just sitting here right in front of me, and I'm worried that if it breaks free, it'll kill me.
Fair enough.
There's just a stretched, glitched out snake stretching throughout the entirety of this level, and it is terrifying. Yeah, but basically tomorrow when I go to get my food from there, I'm gonna, because I know when the manager works, because like she's the adopted sister of one of the people I worked with at Love's, and I'm just gonna straight up tell her, I'm like, I remember the face of the girl, and I remember what time the shift was, so they either need their asses fucking reined in, or you need to get rid of some people. Because like she knows that it's to the point where like she's blatantly admitted I'm their #1 customer because I eat Taco Bell almost once a day. I mean, every time I'm playing video games, I tell you I'm eating Taco Bell. I fucking love Taco Bell, just because, especially in like my area, I love Mexican food, but the only good places to eat Mexican food are restaurants. And the reason I love Mexican food is they have spices and shit like that. And Taco Bell is not Mexican food, but they actually use spices and like are attentive to the way they, or it's basically just everything they have on the fucking menu is good. No ands, ifs, or buts. It's all fucking good. Like, even fuck-ups can't fuck it up completely unless they give me the wrong thing. So, like, I fucking love Taco Bell. It's just one of those, like, guilty pleasures. Like, some people really love McDonald's. I fucking hate McDonald's. The only thing I'll eat at McDonald's is the fucking breakfast burritos.
I really like Chinese food.
I fucking love Chinese food, but the only place we have is the Super Buffet, and I got kicked out of there for eating too much one time.
Think they'll remember you then? Oh, you fat boy!
You know, they told me I ate like Free Willy.
See ya.
But I don't think they'll remember me because back in that back when that shit happened, I was like 80 pounds.
Overweight.
Like I haven't eaten.
80 pounds.
No,
overweight.
I was only 80 pounds. Like going into my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I was literally just 80 pounds. I was underweight. I was super scrawny. I didn't gain weight till like halfway through my sophomore year. But God damn it, really? Josiah, did you always have the build you currently have, or did you like have a different body structure when you were little?
Nope, I've always had the build.
See, I was supposed to always have like the build I currently have, but the problem was we didn't know when I was little that I had like a massive hernia that was apparently affecting like my growth and like physical development, which I didn't find out till my like sophomore year of high school how bad it was. But apparently like the entirety of like at the time my 17 years of life, my body had just been stretching and tearing and stretching and tearing, and it hadn't been like fixed or checked. So like whenever they went to repair the hernia I had, like the damn thing spanned like half my body.
Yeah.
It was, I shit you not, it was massive. The moment I got that shit like even slightly tweaked with the first surgery, because I've had multiple surgeries on it, but my body was actually able to put on weight, because apparently most of like the nutrients I had been like taking in were going to trying to heal and maintain the constant ripping and tearing, which is why I was so underweight. Like it was so bad at one point in my childhood. I remember very clearly that like my grandmother was worried I would die for how skinny I was, which was somewhat a decent thing to expect with my size, but also like a little bit of an exaggeration. Like not me exaggerating, but like, you know how grandmothers are, they take things a step too far. So like the one time I stayed with her for like a week, and all she fucking fed me were like these super sweet cinnamon rolls. I shit you not, I ate all of them, and by the end of it, for like an entire week, I'd just been eating cinnamon rolls in large amounts, and was allowed to do it. And as a kid, like you're like, okay. By the time that was said and done and all over, I had only gained like not even a pound, and then I had lost all of that within like the next few days because of like, the way my body distributes shit. But yeah, no, it was it was something else. So like whenever I grew like my shoulder span. The reason my shoulders didn't grow out to like my junior year was my shoulder span was fucked, because like my hernia basically divided like my entire body in half. And if you were to see like an internal scan of me, it looked like somebody chopped me in half with like a chainsaw in my guts. Like there was just nothing there. But it took a bit of me getting used to like the difference, because like I was so used to being so skinny that I could do whatever the hell I want, eat whatever the hell I want without putting on weight. Like now I've gotten to the point where I think I've finally gotten to where my body's become mostly stable. I still have like pain and problems every now and then, but it's better than it ever has. It's better than it's been ever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was mostly just because my dad took me to the doctor, and like my brother, I was the other day whenever you joined my party and I was having a talk with my grandma, I was talking to her about like my brother and his current dick tumor situation, and a lot of that comes from the fact that like my mother, when we were little, would never take us to the doctor. So whenever I had really bad ingrown toenails to the point where like I couldn't even walk straight, and like my feet would bleed immensely, and my mom would never take me to get them removed. And like when I was up in Hayes, remember how I got that matrixectomy and now I don't have them anymore? That was literally all it took, and I could have done it as a child.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom never did it. And so she made me go run across country meets like fucking 5K and shit with all that. It was oh boy now. And I was so pissed, and I guess since she never did like medical examinations on Bryce and stuff, she wasn't able to figure out all his shit while it was developing and stuff. So they haven't like talked to like any of our family members, my dad, my grandma, me, anyone, my other grandparents, about like Bryce's current condition. So we're all pretty sure that like he's super fucked, and my mom doesn't want to tell anyone about it.
Yeah, sounds like that's probably what it is.
But like, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Very messed up. But yeah, my family still, I don't know, they're just fucking weird. Is there any games coming out here in the future that you're looking forward to?
I'm not quite sure.
I'm looking forward to
Honestly.
that co-op Wolfenstein.
Yeah, that would be.
I feel like if anything we could have fun with, it'd be that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it comes out next month. I just murdered Lies the giant snake. No, the new Wolfenstein's coming out. I'm still debating. I haven't seen anything. I haven't done any research on Black Desert, but like, it's piqued my interests. I'll admit, like, I was very curious about it, and I still am very curious about it because I don't know shit about it. But I think someone had told me that it was basically like an older game, JRPG or something like that, where you could play with your friends and it was massive. But oh, there's also another JRPG that's coming out that apparently you can play with your friends, but it's like hardcore because instead of like you having all these amazing fantastical abilities and being this Billy Badass, you can get all these abilities or you can just fight melee, but like you're still just a basic human being. So it's mixing like JRPG but with crushing difficulty. Because like big enemies can still one-hit you and shit like that. Like there's realism to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that interested me. I was like, I was like, maybe I can play that. Well, see, like the thing is, it's weird because like just naming that knocks off a lot of notches of like Dark Souls-y type stuff, which normally would grab Sean's attention, but a lot of the time, Dark Souls spin-offs don't fucking interest him or anything that tries to improve upon the genre. But I'm like, well, if Sean isn't fucking into it, I bet I could convince Josiah to do it.
Jeez, okay.
No, I don't know.
Second choice.
I've never played Dark Souls with you. Is basically what I'm saying. I don't know what you feel about those games.
Eh.
Is my current like viewpoint on it. Do you actually enjoy those types of games, or do you even play those types of games?
I don't really play those types of games.
See, I've never heard you talk about any of them. And like even then, like Sean apparently didn't used to even know Dark Souls existed, and then he like came late in the series. So like when the Dark Souls remaster came out, it was the first time he never played Dark Souls 1, and he was trying to practice and preach that he knew more about that fucking game series than I did. So there's like, it's like with you Josiah, I'll admit. When I play video games with you, it's a bit more relaxed. We don't talk, converse, and joke around as much as like if we had Sean in the group. But we have that more relaxed feel, and like we can just enjoy just generally playing a game. We don't nitpick anything.
Yeah.
We don't normally have a bad time, and it's just like a chill thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, whenever I play with Sean, it always bridges the line of it's either gotten to the point where he gets so competitive that I don't enjoy playing with him, or he'll just distinguish certain game genres that he won't even like give a chance. So like, a lot of times there's a lot of games out there that if he doesn't even think or hasn't heard of it, then he doesn't think he'll enjoy it. Shit like that. So. Basically, you're more open to things and more relaxed, so because whenever I play with Sean, I always have to like, hey, I'm watching what I'm saying, and I'm just generally trying not to piss him off. It's kind of like walking through a minefield.
Fair enough.
Like, he's still my friend and I enjoy playing with him, but like, it's still like I'm fucking walking on eggshells. Albeit we don't talk as much as like me and Sean, or you and Sean. It's more of a, we don't need certain aspects to justify us doing certain things and stuff like that. So it makes it just generally makes the experience better, I personally think.
Yeah.
There's not
I
a
don't
whole
talk
lot of
too much, but
negativity.
almost half the time it's, my comments aren't needed half the time. But half the time when we're playing together, we typically like venting about something.
And that's fair.
But you kind of just need to get off your chest sort of stuff, so it's not really.
And I'll admit, I'm a very emotional person. Like, but normally, like, I just vent and then I'm good.
Yeah.
Which you've realized, but I don't think Sean realizes it yet. It's like a lot of times when I try to vent about stuff and everything like that, he thinks that like that's my mentality about everything. So it is one of those. I don't know. He's just been so obsessed with single player shit lately that I don't know how the fuck to talk to him. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what the fuck's going on besides the mom stuff. I don't know. Last time I played with him, he said I'd never invite him or do anything like that, so I think I'm still a bit annoyed with the fact that that was a statement that was made when it was clearly false.
Mm-hmm.
And like, didn't you invite him today?
Yeah.
But last time we invited him, he like said 3 statements, and then when we tried to get him to talk, he wouldn't. He's just like Metal Gear. Metal Gear.
I play Metal Gear.
Yeah. Which, that in itself was a statement. So, I don't know. Just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I just want to play video games with my friends. I don't like drama and bullshit to come in between that.
Yeah, I understand.
Like, I play video games to escape the bullshit of reality because, like, most of the time I don't have very good days. Which is why I vent a lot.
Yeah. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I know,
I'm not
you're a
complaining
very
about that.
attentive and listening person.
Not complaining
I mean,
about
we're not,
anything.
we don't have very similar standpoints on certain things, but like but whenever it comes to ticks and viewpoints, we're very open, but, and like, we'll listen, but we can point out both ends of the argument, which I think is one reason why we get along very well.
Sean sometimes doesn't, though.
Oh no, well, he's gotten better. He's gotten better because like
Yeah.
back in the day it was like Republican rah 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 rah, fucking chemicals in the water, frogs gay, and now he's like, I'm starting to see that some of the shit I used to believe isn't that great, and like my problem is, see, my thing is I can see both sides, both parties, and I can point out good and bad, and I'm like, I could see how they could do it one way, I could see how they could do the other, but like when you're just stuck in the mindset of one deal and you haven't looked into like the thought processes, the behavior, the viewpoints, the ideals of one party versus the other, comparing, contrasting, all that shit, and not open to at least a conversation about it, it makes it a little awkward, especially because I'll admit, you and me are very intellectual.
Yeah.
And whenever we talk about politics or history, like, we'll go deep into that shit. And like, normally Sean engages, but like lately he hasn't. But like, the moment we go into politics,
Something's happened in him recently where he's just like, no politics. And I don't know what it was. Or is.
well, he messaged last time we were fucking talking about politics. He messaged me. And he's like, I feel like Josiah was about to go on a tangent about the stuff on the left side. And I'm like, didn't you just say you don't even think you're Republican anymore?
What's funny is that Sean gets like real upset when I go into the. He says it's a tangent, and honestly, it's more stating facts. What annoys me most is that like I come out and I'm just like, this is what actually happens, and now Sean's like, it's just a tangent.
Well, it was like when I was watching the Adam Runs Everything about gun control, and he was trying to say everything Adam said was wrong, and I'm like, not really, because it was talking about gun control and the way guns affect black communities and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will say what's coming up now. Oh, okay, yeah, you go on with your Adam Runs Everything thing, and then I'll talk about gun control, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
sorry,
was
you
like,
got me on
yeah,
gun
you know,
control.
like everything. He's like, you know that everything he said right there was wrong, and then like, that was back when Bryce would sometimes join our parties, and like the only time I'll ever agree with Bryce is like, but everything he said is right. And he's like, and he has fact sources, and you can go in and check them. So we all went in and fact sourced everything because Sean told us that we were completely wrong, and we fact checked everything, and everything was fucking good. There was like one source that was a bit of a but he uses multiple sources, and
One source wrong in a research paper does not mean a wrong research paper.
well, and exactly, and you and me know that shit, but it's like, Sean thought because he had one wrong source, or one slightly biased source, out of a multitude of sources, that he was incorrect.
It's funny, because he
And me
voted
and-
for Donald Trump.
Didn't he say he regretted doing that?
But he still has the contingencies. If you know what I mean.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But go off on your thing?
I was gonna say, like, I do now have to look at gun control. Because you got me thinking about it, and I've been thinking about that sort of stuff a lot recently. Where,
Oh, because of the, like, shootings and stuff?
yeah, the massive amount of shootings we've been having, and, like...
And, like, the targeted rappers in the communities and stuff like that have been, like, being gunned down recently and stuff like that.
Less about rappers, more about, like... just how...
Where you go ahead.
Gun violence and gun control is a very interesting subject and very divisive very easily, which is just interesting to me to say the least. But thinking and reading on stuff, people are coming out with like some interesting arguments where it's just like, yeah, if we outlaw guns though, you've got these small communities that are gonna need help. They start pointing out some of the holes in it. But then they don't offer like a decent solution, so it's this very interesting...
They don't bring anything to the table. They'll point out all the flaws, but they won't bring anything to the table.
Here's all the flaws. It's like, okay, cool. What do you think we should do? I have no idea. Well, that's great. So I started trying to come up with general solutions for that sort of stuff, and I don't know. I'm trying to come up with something, and I feel like it's mostly a massive... We have to address these massive issues of society and change how we view things.
Yeah, it's social issues, the way we handle things. There's a whole fluctuation of deals and how they affect the way people act.
we should start talking about mental health issues and
Fair.
tons of
Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit it.
and like,
Mental-
all sorts of shit.
Mental health issues have needed to be addressed since like the school shooting epidemics, because everyone's been wanting to blame like dude, literally in the last year, because of school shootings, Donald Trump targeted video games because of school shootings. He didn't try to address mental health or anything like that. And like Adam Runs Everything did a video on that shit, which I already had this viewpoint and standard on this before that. Adam Run Everything is not my background for shit, but if there's things on there that I agree with, I'll speak it. Which I think Sean thinks that I get all my fucking factuals and shit like that from Adam Runs Everything. I'm like, no, I'll fact check his sources. It's just I have similar beliefs in what he talks about before he talks
Plus,
about
a lot
them.
of the stuff he says is correct.
Yeah, and like he's so like factual and shit that like they'll go over stuff they fucked up in later videos and they'll be like, this is things we accidentally got wrong in our video. But like most of it is like numbers and stuff. It's never
Yeah, a lot
really
of-
like
None of it's like we were entirely wrong on this entire thing. It's more just like
it's like nitpicking very tiny things.
which is pretty great.
And then it's funny because Sean was like, when there was the one about guns and then like shit like that, and Sean was like, well, yeah, it pissed off a bunch of like NRA people and stuff. And Sean went to where he says he's not right-winged anymore, but he's still right-winged. He went to the right-winged place of his mind. And basically stated that, and then they addressed that in a later video and said, yes, it sucks that this isn't exactly what you believe, but here are the facts. And he went, we need to address and change things. If you don't agree with it, that's fine, but that doesn't change the
fact that this is a
validity
fact.
of basically.
Yeah.
And
It's just
that in itself pissed people off, yada yada yada. I mean, Sean, it's funny because like, I don't know. Sometimes I think Sean can't figure himself out, but even though he's unsure about things, he'll still address his slight opinions, but most of the time it's like, even then, it's not really his opinion, it's he's not sure
Regurgitated.
himself.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Sean is what I would describe as someone who is bipolar without being completely bipolar.
That's fair.
He's irrationally contradicts his own beliefs, viewpoints, and opinions. He's not sure of his own ideals or thinking, but whatever he's thinking in that moment, he'll stick true to and be very opinionated on. Like the other day when he was saying that he doesn't. Oh my god! When he said that he doesn't like Battlefield 5, which is funny because like, and how I brought it up, and I was like, didn't you just say you like Battlefield 5? And then you were like, hey, that was me. I'm like, no, Sean had done it too. Literally, whenever you had taken a break, Sean was like, man, I really want Society back on so we can play some Battlefield 5 and stuff like that. I was like, and I just kind of went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the you just said. So, yeah, he's not a bad friend, but it's very hard to get a beat on his thought processes and stuff, and like everything else.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to like be careful with what you say. So at times, sometimes it just really fucking sucks having to deal with him on certain days. I love him to death, but like, oh my god, remember Bryce tried to embed himself into our friend group? I think was the best example I could think of. But when Bryce tried to get himself into our friend group, him and Sean were like relating to a bunch of shit, and like they were fucking constantly snapping each other, and they were acting like they were best friends. And then whenever Sean found out that Bryce was fucked up, Sean immediately distanced himself from anything Bryce had done up until that point. And then
Basically,
it
it
was
was forgotten,
one of those.
ignored everything that had happened.
It's like, no, I never did that or stuff like that, and that was just like, why? Ah, she's still in the Now I got fucked. So are you and Avery doing better now, or is
Yeah,
it basically
basically it's just gone back to normal. That,
but does
what
that
I-
manager come around though?
like, to my house, no. She never did. But,
It's just when you're at work and after work.
it's stopped a little. Like, she isn't doing that shit anymore.
Is that whenever you pointed out that she said all that fucked up shit?
She just stopped after. Basically, there was this girl that was leaving our store, and the manager was friends with that girl. So what I feel like was that she was lashing out because she was leaving her friend, which is kind of bullshit. That she spent it all on me, but what can you do about it?
I could list off a few fucked up things, but nothing you would do.
Yep. Story of my life.
You know, I don't know what it is about people in Haze, but they're super fucking judgmental and rude to people, and then if they ever, like, have something bad happen to them, they immediately expect you to drop everything you're doing and either feel bad for them.
Help them, or I don't really know.
And shit like that, and it's so fucking annoying. And then if you do recognize and help them with issues or problems, they'll still throw a fucking fit.
How come you never helped me? Motherfucker.
I guess I just can't go through that. Which I guess is kind of weird, but okay. Oh fuck. God, fucking rock on the camera angles in this fucking game sometimes. But I was in midair. How did she yoink me off the ground? Grab animations are the fucking worst. I gotta do this stupid fucking monkey boss right now, and I'm on New Game Plus, and it's like one of the most hated bosses in the game just because he's an unbelievable dick. This is why it's the worst boss ever. I hate how he can fart and throw his shit at me.
No,
The
nice.
fact that those are elements of this really just make him that much more infuriating.
I thought you were talking about Rose.
Well, you know, they're both fucking idiots and monkeys.
The difference is one of them.
Damn.
Yeah, I kind of called that in the beginning.
What, that he wasn't gonna make it? Yeah, I remember you specifically like made a whole like list of fucked up things you could do instead of actually doing it or lying and saying you would actually do it. I remember. I should have jumped. I don't know what the fuck I was doing. Oh, fuck. Terrible about this bullshit. Fuck. I'm lucky that missed.
Oops.
Aw, damn it. He knows I have another blade and could have killed him. Now I need to check and make sure I know what to do for the purification ending.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back. In this video, we're going to be checking out the purification ending in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. The purification ending, the first thing we need to do is just before we face down the top of Ashley Castle, we need to know where the ship is, and he should be having a conversation with Emma. Instead of looking at it, one immediately gets the option to listen in to their conversation. It is not specified anywhere explicitly that we need to do this step before actually finding out what the
There's like 5 endings to this game.
This is going to initiate the first fight with Al. After we defeat him, we want to continue down into Kudo's room. Once we're inside Kudo's room, we want to go to this back wall and lean against the wall, and here we'll be able to eavesdrop on Kudo. You want to eavesdrop on him a few times to exhaust all of his sort of dialogue he can have. The final dialogue piece you need to be listening out for is, yes, do what must be done. This may require you to eavesdrop on him once, rest at the idol, eavesdrop again, rest again, check again, and you can keep on decipher the same dialogue. Once you've heard that sentence, now it's time to rest at the idol, and when we look around the room, Emma will be gone. And Emma disappearing from this room and going upstairs is the sign that everything's going as it should, and we're ready to move on to the next step. The next thing we need to do is go upstairs and speak with Emma. Here we don't have enough anyway, so we need to choose if we agree with Emma. And after we finish that dialogue, we want to sit at any of the idols, rest, and then speak with her again. After exhausting her dialogue again, we're going to go to the old grave idol. Very close by to the idol itself, we're going to approach the graves, and here we can find Emma once
My
again.
lord, I've procured the flower for the...
Oh?
Yes.
So that is where the fountainhead was. You've done well. Oh, I discovered there's another.
What is it?
The blood of the divine heir of.
You're but my lord.
Yes. However, and it appears for now, I'd like. Now then.
Perhaps we should...
Yes.
There is something
Yes, what?
in the divine.
Why would?
The blood to obtain the dragon and achieve
Oh, it is true that however.
the mortal bliss.
Yes, here you are.
This was written.
It was with the more you may wound.
I see. This brings us. I shall tell.
Of course.
Go talk to the old man and see if he's got any fucking dialogue. Old fucker. He's not here.
Wolf.
It is the mortal.
The sword that
Yes, it was given
the divine
the monks at some result known
a
as.
false weight.
Yes, many were.
Further put ties of it.
Yes, my.
Wolf. I found it's a
A
stone.
stone?
Yes.
What?
It's a writing. It says there's a sacred village.
But I haven't.
Beyond the bottom of the well you awoke in, near the Moonview Tower. It says there is a It may be relevant.
I will take a look.
Good. The text did say to throw oneself.
I do not.
See if you can.
My lord.
Oh yeah, shit. I need to progress. Apparently the big fat guy in this game, the character, it's just like a random side character, has 3 fucking quest lines that involve him. But you can only do 1 quest line for each playthrough, meaning if you want to do all of his quests, you have to do 3 different playthroughs. He's actually the most interesting side character too, because he's like the monks that are like sacrificing and killing kids. He was the dude in charge of taking care of the kids, and they snuck him out from underneath his nose, because he's a little slow. And they killed him. So he's like crying on a tree when you find him.
Where could it?
Is this what?
I'm looking for it.
I see.
But you, thank you. Yes, yes.
There's a peddler named Anaya. You should give him a hand.
I mean, if everyone can. All right.
You should.
But basically, one of the quest lines leads him to be turned into a monster by his actual dad. His dad apparently, like the monks that were searching for immortality, his dad was working under a scientist or whatever, and he was searching for immortality as well. So his dad was like doing these terrible fucking experiments. So if you bring him to his dad will like kill him and then turn him into like this husk of a being with red eyes, which means they're savage. Or you can give him a white flower and then exorcise him to the spirit world where he'll be with the kids that he was taking care of that are dead now. Or you can send him to help the peddler put bodies to rest on the battlefield, and the peddler will take their armor and sell it. And then you get access to better items. The first one I did was I spirited him away. But this one I'm doing the peddler. I don't ever want to give him to his dad because that's kind of fucked.
Right.
Let me see if I can actually do any of these. If I have 1,000, I can do that one. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna give myself a couple thousand.
Right.
1500. What the?
Brothers.
That sword on
What is it?
the mortal blade.
What? You don't suppose you could use?
I will.
Thank you. A man with you. Couldn't you?
Leave it to me.
Splendid. I will prepare for the beyond.
Good sir, you found out not only is he strong, but he doesn't mind looting corpses. Thanks to you, I've got piled, not to mention some new items in stock. Here, have a... Thank me of you.
No.
In any... Greeting. Go on. Until come again.
See if that restarts his inventory.
Greetings. Go on. Until come again soon. Greetings. Go on. Until next come again soon.
Guess we'll go back to the main area, kill the one dude, and see about buying my next upgrade that I think I can acquire now.
So we speak to her here and exhaust all the dialogue. Once we're finished talking with Emma here, we're going to go back to the temple, the main hub area of the game where the sculptor is. And instead of walking in the room and talking with Emma and the sculptor, we're going to go round to the back of the temple, and if we lean up against this wall,
You're certain?
Yes.
As you
Go on.
Hey, still have some. Looks like that damned near immortal samurai's finally gone and died. I tell you, I don't understand. If you're not gonna die, you should. Anyways, I'm sure he will. Until next time.
It's 1:30 in the morning, and I have class at 9:30, so I'm gonna go to bed.
I got to drive early tomorrow to go to do a teacher sit-in, so...
Doing the same thing. Alright, see you tomorrow.
Alright,
Well,
later.
actually, probably more like Thursday.
Oh, you're not going to be on tomorrow?
Well, I have class until 10, and then work at 5. And then that's until
Alright.
10 p.m., so yeah, maybe.
I guess I'll probably just spend tomorrow doing all my homework and probably start reading that communism book, and
Yeah.
yeah, that'll basically be it. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Later. I went to see if this guy respawns, or if his items respawn. If they don't, fuck. You know, that picture is him drinking the gourd, but to me it's him kissing a fucking crow or some shit. Alright.
Go on.
No, he doesn't get his stuff.
Come again.
Oh, Hanayama, he called me here to mourn those who died in battle. Take off the armor, cleanse the body, and make proper grave. Times as they are. Decent. Hanayama, he called me here to mourn. Take off. Time.
I don't know what it is with the design of fat people, but they made them plasticky and super stretch marky. Like when you get to a certain limit, I'm pretty sure you do get like stretch marks and stuff, but you don't look as bad as the guys in this game. It's like an over-exaggeration, I think. Alright, off stream I killed the samurai at the top of the pedestal and the one-armed dude that guards the fountain that gave me a hard time the first time. I did them both in the first go, and there was no reason to actually fucking stream it. Because I've already fought them, so I didn't feel like it. Me and Josiah were trying to figure out if the backwards compat Star Wars Battlefront was worth a shit. And if the multiplayer servers are back, but they aren't for Xbox, sadly. Which sucks. to fight the fucking monkey again. Or the big gorilla, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Truly beautiful. Who are you calling for?
And as we found out in my previous streams, apparently there's a spirit in the hidden village down here. That, basically she's this fucking crazy lady. Stabs anything that fucking moves. And she's like a fucking phantom. She runs around fucking murdering everybody. She is not to be fucked with. And I'm not fucking with these guys. I've already fucking killed them. There's no reason to fucking fight them again. The headless or the spirits, because I've already done it. And the only thing they'll give me is a fucking coin purse, and their fights are so annoying. And you have to deal with a terrible that I don't want to.
Will you be cast out?
What?
If you wish, then you'd beg over the death.
Connect over here, which is fucking stupid. You literally don't even need to go down the well to do anything. It's almost a completely useless area. I think this game tried to do like the whole Dark Souls on like how everything's interconnected. I like how it did my ability and my like melee, but I never actually what the fuck? I think I have to kill her to progress. This right here is fucking miserable. And I just dropped my fucking phone all the way into the goddamn floor. Her kick kills me. did the kick. I watched the Come on, asshole. I had to kill her. I literally had to kill her. And that somehow pisses me off to unbelievable levels. I get it, some of the mini bosses are mandatory, but you make the most ridiculous one mandatory. Got another Jesus statue, which is, I guess, nice. I went to block that, but it didn't work. Fuck away from me. That's what that does. Jesus. That attack is so bullshit. Why are you spamming that? Wait, what? Hmm. Hmm. I think I have to rest to get it back. Alright, I'm gonna quit. Basically, I have to kill the monkeys, get to the stone, and then all that's left is really the spirit world. And if I do the purification ending, I'm gonna go back to the flashback, have to kill 2 mini bosses, and then the owl again. And I'll be able to rush through most of it, and I'll skip most of the mini bosses and stuff like that because I have no reason to kill them anymore. So, in the next stream or two, I'll have beaten this game twice. Which is pretty much, if you haven't seen it, I've gone through the remastered of Dark Souls twice on this channel. I haven't gone through Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3, I don't think. If I went through Dark Souls 3, it was like streams of us dicking around and never actually progressing through the game. So I might do that in the future, but I feel like I want to do more of a co-op deal because I've beaten those games so many fucking times. This is new, this is fresh. There are a few more games that are going to be based around a concept like this, like Blood something is going to be another one of these that's more Japanesey based, and that might be interesting, so anyway.